Welcome. Another episode, Pound for Pound Boxer Report. Another live episode, Pound for Pound Boxer Report, episode 445. I'm your host, Michael. Joining me this week, Daniel from Four Boxing News and the Inscriber. What's going on, Daniel?
Going on, folks?
Uh, we may or may not have uh, Gail from nyfights.com. Her schedule is very busy this evening. She may pop in for a brief appearance. For those who are new to Pound for Pound Box Report, Pound for Pound Box Report, live YouTube show, podcast, blog, site, etc., talking all things boxing. Uh, the motto is when boxing is good, we will talk about it. When it's bad, we will talk about it. Bottom line is, if it concerns the sweet science, it will get discussed. If you want to find out any and all information, please go to the site, p4pboxingreport.com. If you wish to email us with any questions or comments, you can do so. P4pboxing at p4pboxingreport.com on the site. You'll find links where to catch all things pound for pound boxing on all over social media. Links to the YouTube channel, links to the Facebook, Twitter, IG page. Also, links to where you can find us all over the podcast realm, uh, be it Spotify, be it Anchor, be it Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, you should be able to find Pound for Pound Box Report. If you wish to contribute, donate, we got a PayPal Cash Me donation links on the site. Wouldn't matter to us if it's $1, $2, $5, or more than that. We will be grateful. Any and all contributions are welcome. Let donation be the best nation. Last but certainly not least, for my fellow fitness enthusiasts, please check out the link to BODI Body, formerly known as Beachbody On Demand, body a fitness app with programs for any and all fitness goals and interests. If you're looking for to lift weights, a weightlifting program, check out programs like Lift For, Lift More, Body Beats. If you're looking for like hardcore functioning style workouts, please check out programs like Chop Wood, Carry Water, 6 weeks of the work, Morning Meltdown. If you are interested in something like plyo or yoga, Body has it. The P90X series 1, 2, and 3, they're still there. If you're looking for a boxing specific program, please check out 10 rounds. 6 week program, 3 days of boxing based cardio, 2 days of weightlifting, or at the very least, take advantage of the 14-day trial that runs throughout the year. That is for 14 days. You get free access to any and all programs on a body, including the sample workout for the upcoming workout program that's set to drop later on this year. Dig deeper. Let's get things going, Daniel, by recapping some fights that took place this past weekend, I should say. Um, let's start card over in Australia that was aired on ESPN. The main event, of course, was George Kambosos fighting Vasyl Lomachenko for the vacant IBF lightweight title. When we discussed this last week, I was saying that on balance, assuming that everything is on the up and up, Lomachenko was the better fighter, and he proved that in this fight, right? Kambosos, he's competitive early on, but you could just tell that the wheels were turning in Lomachenko's head. He was just surveying the scene and figuring things out. And once he did, he began to take over slowly but surely, begin to go to Kambosos' body, begin to catch him with his counters, the customary Lomachenko style really fully bloomed, and eventually broke Kambosos down, stopped him in the 11th round. The question is, following this win in which Lomachenko now has the IBF belt, what's up next for him? Shakur Stevenson was popping off after the fight about a potential fight with Loma, as was Javante Tank Davis. Um, if you are Arum in Top Rank, um, would you steer Lomachenko in the direction of
I
Shakur Stevenson
personally,
since they're label mates, or if Tank Davis wants to run his mouth and say, "Okay, I want to fight him next," and whatnot, in his infamous deleted tweets, call his bluff. Go ahead, Daniel. Are you still there, Daniel? Uh, it looks like we may have some technical issues. I can't hear Daniel right now. If I was him, while I get those technical issues fixed, um, if I'm top rank, I'd say put him in the direction of. And I see Daniel will have some technical issues. Hopefully, we'll have him back on soon. So I'm going to carry the solo for the time being. If I'm top ranked, the obvious fight for me is a fight between Lomachenko and Shakur for later on this year. For the time being, they're stable mates, even though Shakur is popping off at the mouth uh, uh, um, about possibly leaving top rank and saying some controversial statements that has got him in a bit of water. But for me, but a Lomachenko Stevenson matchup at 135 later on this year. Um, Shakur Stevenson returns to defend his version of the lightweight title in June. That is still an elite matchup. If you are boxing fan, if you are if you love high level skilled in the ring between fighters, that is arguably the best fighter in the division. I know Javante Davis, he has a fight with Frank Martin coming up next month. That may be the more high profile bout because of Tank Davis's stature and invisibility, right? Uh, but Tank Davis has had the opportunity to fight Vasyl Lomachenko for years, uh, going back to his days at 130 pounds when he was with Floyd. Floyd kept him away from um, Lomachenko, and I don't think that in their heart of hearts that Tank Davis is serious about that fight. If he was, he wouldn't have put something out there on Twitter and then subsequently deleted the tweet. That's an old move from Tank. It gets annoying with him. I get annoyed by it. Um, I just don't think he may say he has a 6-7 fight plan, and in response to somebody who says that he wants Lomachenko left, Daniel, but I don't buy it. Are you there, Daniel? Unmute your mic if you're still there, Daniel. Can't hear you. Looks like, I'm sorry, folks. It still looks like we're having some technical issues with Daniel on his end. So until then, I'll just carry on solo until we get him back fully. Let's move on to some other fights that took place on that card. Pedro Guevara versus Andrew Moloney. WBC interim title. Guevara ended up getting the decision here, but in my opinion, I thought that Moloney did the cleaner and more effective work. The interesting thing is Moloney's reaction after the fight, clearly frustrated, clearly disgusted by the decision which went Guevara's way. He basically said, um, um, "F this bleep, I'm out." Abruptly announced that he's stepping away from the sport, right? And I think that's just an emotional reaction from him, right? Um, I think that with time, uh, sense will come into his head, into his heart. And if top rank it does right by him, I think that he will. I think they will engage in a rematch. Let me check one more time, Daniel. If you're there, unmute your mic, please. Now, see, Daniel's not there. Once again, the other fight on this card, women's title fight between WBA bantamweight champion Nina Hughes fighting hometown fighter Chernecka Johnson. Johnson won by a decision to become the new WBA champion. The interesting thing was the decision. Ring announcer Dan Hennessy initially announced the fight for Nina Hughes, only to basically have an about face announce it for the right person who I felt won the fight correctly. Um, which was Johnson won by unanimous, by majority decision, excuse me, 95, 95, 96, 94, 98, 92. Where does Chernecka Johnson go from here? For me, uh, a possible opponent would be Dina Thornsland, right? I think Dina Thornsland is the dominant fighter in that 118 122-pound weight range. The question is, will she get the big fight that she deserves, that she really wants? Will she get the unification fight that she deserves and wants? We will see. I would love to see her in a fight against Johnson. I would make Thornsland the significant favorite here. Uh, but there may be some section and body obligations in terms of mandatory title defenses. We will see. Uh, if the fight happens, it's likely, in my opinion, that the fight may happen in Australia because there's more money in Australia than Thorsland's hometown of Denmark. That may the money may entice may be the deciding factor. But again, um, Chernecka Johnson defeating Nina Hughes by majority decision to become WBA women's bantamweight champion of the world. Some more fights. Want to break down right quick while Daniel get his issues straight. Eduardo Rocky Hernandez. Many people remember him for his spirited effort against Oshaki Foster late last year, I believe it was ahead on the cards until Foster rallied to stop Hernandez, um, 12th round stoppage to retain the WBC junior lightweight strap. Rocky Johnson returned to the ring, excuse me, to fight Daniel Lugo. Rugged fighter, right? Uh, Lugo, tough as an oak. I give him credit for the way he hung in there. But in the end, I was impressed by Rocky Hernandez, who ranked number 3 by the WBC at 130 pounds. Entertaining scrap. In the end, Hernandez woke up after a bit of a rough start, began to apply the pressure, pound away at Lugo, and ended up stopping him in 7 rounds. I would love to see if uh, Rocky's handlers over at, I believe, Golden Boy can get him a rematch with Oshaki Foster. Their fight in Mexico was too good um, for them not to go at it again. I know there may be some promotional issues with all parties involved, but that's the direction I would like to see, a rematch between Hernandez and Foster. Though I will say if a rematch should happen, it should not be in Mexico again. Um, Foster went down to Rocky Hernandez' home country, Mexico, to fight. The rematch should happen in Oshaki's Foster home state of Texas. Some more action breakdown right quick. Um, Fight we went into great detail last week. Women's title fight in England. Uh, Jessica McCaskill, who has multiple belts at 147 pounds, fought top contender Lauren Price, who's getting a lot of buzz over in England. Since her amateur days, Price has been thought as a potential star, Olympic medalist. And in breaking down this fight last week, I felt that Price was the clear favorite, showed that way in the fight as the Southpaw challenger, did pretty much what she wanted. Price is not a puncher, but she's an elite standout boxer. Showed it in that case in droves. McCaskill could do nothing with Price all night long. Um, Got to the point where severe swelling, started to develop over the eye. It was because of the swelling in the eye that the fight was stopped, and on the scorecards, uh, Lauren Price was winning by a significant margin, and she's now the welterweight champion. Future for Lauren Price at 147 pounds, it's being dominated by British women, right? Price has a belt, Sandy Ryan has a belt, Natasha Jonas has a belt. It will be interesting to see what boxer and Sky Sports decide to do with Lauren Price. Um, she has, she can really fight in the ring, and given her background playing professional soccer or football, as they like to say in Europe, um, she has a bit of star power, particularly in England. Um, the money is with a fight against Jonas. Natasha Jonas, who has the IBF belt, has stated that 2024 plans to be her last year in boxing. Jonas and Price are with the same promotional outfit that is Boxer, so that fight may happen. Ben Shalom, he said in the post fight comments that he believes that fight would happen, but on a personal end, I would be really intrigued with a Lauren Price unification bout against Sandy Ryan. Many people remember Sandy Ryan for her dismantling of Terry Harper last time out. In the fight before that, um, in my opinion, she clearly beat McCaskill in a fight that was ruled a draw. Horrible decision, in my opinion. Sandy Ryan, come forward fighter, bit of a mean streak, elite body puncher. It would be interesting to see how the boxing skills and movement of Price would deal with the pressure and the come forward style and the aggression and the physical strength of Sandy Ryan. To me, that's the best fight in the division overall. No disrespect to Natasha Jonas. Let me see one more time if we can get Daniel back. I'm going to reach out to him right quick. But before we do that, while we do that, I'm going to preview some fights this weekend because apparently this is going to be a very short episode until Daniel gets some technical issues fixed on his end. Um, let's start previewing some fights here because I don't have any real news here. The big fight, of course, is happening over in Saudi Arabia with Usyk and Fury. But before that, Emanuel Navarette, uh, three division champion at 122, 126, 130, moving up to 135 to fight Dennis Berinchyk for the vacant WBO belt. Fight is going to take, I'm going to air on ESPN networks. Um, I don't know what to think about this fight, right? For me, Navarette is just going up just to test. This is a test of testing the waters to see if Navarette can fight at 130 pounds, 35 pounds. If he wins the belt, if he wins the fight and wins the vacant BO belt, he's going to stay there. If he doesn't, he's probably going back to 135 pounds. I think that 130 pounds, excuse me. I think that junior lightweight is his best. Well, technically, I still believe featherweight is the best weight for Navarette. He's a guy who we all know, many people know throughout boxing. Uh, Training, he likes to fight more than he likes to train. Discipline is not his greatest asset. I think that if he really tended to business and the training and the conditioning and the nutrition department, he can still make 126 pounds. But he's one of these guys who thinks he can do things his way, and his way is the best way. Um, Against Berinchyk, Berinchyk is a solid guy, right? Good boxing skills, good power, uh, strong fighter. Navarette, we know his style. He likes to come forward. He likes to blast away. He has one of the more unorthodox styles in the sport. I'm going to make him the slight favorite here, but Berinchyk is going to give him a tough fight, largely because Navarette really doesn't know how to make things easy for him, and because of that, Berinchyk is going to be there until I think that Navarette takes over the second half of the fight. Only way I see that Navarette doesn't win is that he's going up too far in weight, and that the naturally bigger Berinchyk uses his strength and his power. It really exposes Navarette from a physical standpoint. Let's move on to the big card, right? In in Australia. I'm gonna save Usyk and Fury until last. Um, let's start with the cruiserweight title fight between Jai Opetaia and Mairis Briedis. They fought in 2022, a couple of years ago. Briedis lost his the IBF belt at the time to Opetaia. Opetaia had his jaw broken second round, so he fought the last 10 rounds of that fight with a broken jaw. After a year off to recover, and he had some promotional issues, has kept a pretty busy schedule. I am really, really impressed by Opetaia, who section and body BS stripped him of the belt. So they're going to fight. This rematch is going to be for the vacant IBF cruiserweight belt. I'm really, really impressed by what I've seen from Opetaia. For those who have not seen him, uh, he is what I like to call a power boxer, aggressive, bit of a mean streak. Uh, he can hit you from the outside. He can fight you on the inside. Very fast hands, good power, explosive. His last couple of bouts have ended in sensational fashion. He beat Briedis, Mairis Briedis, basically hampered for the majority of their first fight. I don't see anything in the nearly 40-year-old Briedis now uh, that says that he can handle a Opetaia, who in pre-fight interviews has said that his last couple of outings he's been fighting with a hurt left hand and that he's 100%. And if he's 100% in this fight, I see a similar win. I see him winning in a similar fashion. I think he has the potential to win even a more dominant fashion if he has two good hands. The jaw is healed. He can not only win, I think he can hurt and really, really dominate Briedis in even greater fashion than he did in that first fight. So I am going with Jai Opetaia to win, and I think this time he's going to win by a late stoppage. Let's move on. Joe Cordina returning to the ring. I think this is a man. This is a defense against Cacace, Anthony Cacace, two British fighters fighting in Saudi Arabia. Um, I wasn't that impressed by Cordina in his last bout. He struggled a bit, but if the Cordina that showed against Rakimov, the Cordina that showed when he won the title over the Japanese fighter, if we see that kind of fighter in form, and if he's not depleted from making weight, because word on these boxing streets is that Cordina is having a tough time making the junior lightweight limit of 130 pounds. If he's not too physically depleted from making weight and if he's in top form, I give him the advantage here. 130 pounds, the junior lightweight division is not the greatest in the world, but Cordina, in my opinion, is one of the best fighters in that division. Really good. He can move. Really good jab. In the fight against Rakimov, he showed not only toughness as he overcame Rakimov, um, really rallying in the mid rounds, but he also Cordina showed that he can hit to the head and body. He hurt Rakimov with body and head shots in that fight. And the way that he won the title, Cordina, he won by a sensational one punch fashion against a Cacace who doesn't have the legs of Cordina, doesn't have the work rate of a Cordina. He has good power. Um, he's sturdy, but I make Cordina the favorite here. I think he has too much in the offensive arsenal. And I think he moves just enough, and he's defensively sound to the point where he will win a 12-round decision. Last but not least, right? The big fight. That is, uh, and I know Daniel, he's not here, but he's for months has said that this fight was not going to happen. He has predicted that Fury was going to find a way to bow out of the fight. It looks like his prediction is going to be wrong, as fight is just a few days away to fight for undisputed heavyweight championship, uh, undisputed heavyweight title between unified champion Oleksandr Usyk, WBC champion Tyson Fury. Okay, pick 'em fight here. Two clearly the two best fighters in the heavyweight division. Two highly skilled fighters. Fury has the size. Usyk, the southpaw stance. He makes fighters in many ways look stupid. He's dominated. He dominated the cruiserweight division. Has gone up and had been very, very successful at heavyweight. The question is for me, can Fury not only use his size, but can he establish his jab, and can he find the body of Usyk? The one small weakness that I've seen in Alexander Usyk, he's been hurt up the gut. We all remember his last fight against Daniel Dubois, where he got hit with, to many in the boxing community, was a borderline shot. Some felt it was below the belt, other felt it was on the belt line. The point is, a body shot in the gut put Usyk down. We've seen other instances throughout his career where Usyk, in my opinion, has been bothered with body shots, particularly the second fight with Anthony Joshua, right in September, in summer of 2022, where in the mid rounds, uh, 7, 8, 9, 10, Joshua had a lot of success attacking Usyk to the body. He had Usyk backing up with body shots until Usyk kind of gathered himself in the championship rounds and just went to blitzkrieg mode and just threw so many punches that Anthony Joshua had no answer. Um, if Fury can find a way to get the jab going, Fury is in shape this time. If he can find a way to use his size, um, if he can find a way to get to Usyk's body, I think he can win. But if Usyk can step around, if he can get his jab going, if he confuses Fury, um, and if he's active, he can't be plotting in this fight. To me, he has to throw punches and bunches. He has to be in supreme shape because um, against Joshua, the work rate was just too much, right? I think the work rate could be too much for a Tyson Fury. Um, who wins? Hmm. Who wins? This is going to be tough. The momentum for many has been leaning towards Oleksandr Usyk. There are many in the boxing community who feels that if there is one style that could be the boogeyman for Tyson Fury, is what Usyk does, because he's a southpaw, because he's active, because he uses angles, right? Because he goes up and down, a lot of head movement. That he's just going to be too much for Fury. Um, I'm gonna go the opposite here. I think that I'm gonna stick to the old adage that a great big man beats a very good to great big little man, and I don't think no one's knocking anyone out, but I think that in the end, the size will matter, and I am going with Tyson Fury to win uh, by decision. Now, could I be wrong and have egg on my face? Absolutely. It's not a confident pick. Usyk could very well win this fight. I could see a scenario where Usyk wins this fight. There's a scenario where Usyk could just confuse the mess out of Fury and just pick him apart and win going away. But unlike that effort that we saw against Francis Ngannou from Tyson Fury, we're not going to see that in this fight. He's locked in and loaded. He's going to be ready, and based on what we see from him physically and during pre-fight interviews and whatnot, he is in outstanding shape. And I think a Tyson Fury at his A game is going to win by decision. Short episode this evening. My guest currently is not here, so we're going to do this thing, hit it and quit it. In here for a good time, not for a long time. So that's been this particular episode, Pound for Pound Box Report, episode 445. For those who are checking us out on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Uh, subscribe button, please. Particularly if you use subscribe using the bell, you'll get notifications for any and all future episodes of the Pound for Pound Boxing Report. On the next episode, we will have a full scale recap of Usyk and Fury, full scale recap of Cordina and Cacace, full scale recap of the rematch between Opetaia and Briedis, full scale recap of the fight between Navarette and Dennis Berinchyk, and I see. Let me see if Daniel. Are you there, Daniel? If you're there, unmute your mic, please. If you're there, Daniel, unmute your mic, please. Looks like we're still having technical issues, so I think we're going to cut things uh, short on that note. As I mentioned on the next episode, full scale recap of Usyk and Fury, full scale recap of Cordina and Cacace, full scale recap of the rematch between Opetaia and Briedis, as well as the recap of Emanuel Navarette and Dennis Berinchyk. Also, we will have a preview the rematch between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall that's going to take place May 25th over in Leeds, England, on the zone. Christian Mubili, top ranked super middleweight, is going to return fighting Mark Heffron in Canada, and the aforementioned Dina Thorslin. Um, she's going to defend her WBC, WBO bantamweight world titles in her home country in Denmark against a contender by the name of Seaton. So looks like Daniel, yeah, we're having technical issues with Daniel. So this has been kind of a weird, short, quick episodes. My usual partners in crime, Gail and Daniel, for assortment of reasons, were not able to make it. So um, for those who want to talk boxing with Gail, you can check her out, her work, her writings over at nyfights.com, or you can chop it up with her on Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, on at PR Pro San Diego. Let me repeat that again, at PR Pro San Diego. For those who want to talk boxing, pro wrestling, the NBA, especially when it comes to Miami Heat with Daniel of For Boxing News and the Inscriber. You can check him out over on Twitter, Raucus, RAKUZ 99 on Twitter, for those who want to talk boxing, music, fitness with me on Twitter. You can do so, Brother JR at Brother JR76. Or if you want to talk boxing, music, fragrance, and check out my Sense of the Days and check out my ongoing fragrance and fitness challenge for the month of May, you can do so on IG and TikTok at Brother JRSC. So, again, on the next episode, full scale recap of the big card in Saudi Arabia, Fury and Usyk again, as well as all other boxing matters, and also a previewing the rematch between Josh Taylor, Jack Catterall, Christian Mobili's fighting Dina Thorson, who I believe is one of the elite women's fighters in the world, defending her unified bantamweight title. So I am your host, Michael. This has been episode 445 of the Pound for Pound Box Report. Um, Hope everyone have a good one. Hope everyone enjoys the fight this weekend. Y'all have a good one. Good evening. Good night.